Right, so the next video I'm going to do is essentially these windshield repair kits. They cost about a tenner on eBay. It comes with a load of what is essentially like a glass shield resin and a couple of suction things. I've seen a lot of people use these on YouTube to fix their cracks and small chips in their windscreens. Now I've got a small chip in my windscreen. It's coming up to the winter. The UK gets cold in the winter, and so I want to prevent it becoming a full crack, because then I have to sort out the full windscreen. It costs about, a lot of UK insurance companies, you can pay £30 excess, and then they'll repair a chip. That's £30 per chip. With this being a tenner, I thought it was worth at least giving it a go and seeing if I can repair it on the cheap. So like I say, I've seen these done on YouTube before, so I'm just going to give it a look and see what happens. Right. So first thing to note is that, as you can see, that's my chip there. I've actually got two chips, so it would cost me 60 quid to repair. Now I'm hoping that this kit will do two chips. But as you can see, if we put my finger in to show you the size, it's not a very big chip. They're not very big chips. Now the first thing you have to look at, first of all, is normally chips that you're able to repair have like this bubble. Don't know whether you can sort of see that, but there's like a slight bubble. They're not very big, so this is just the size of my index fingernail, so that's actually a nice size to do. The bubble means that it's able to inject the resin into it. So let's get started. So these kits come with instructions. Like I say, this one was about a £10 buy on eBay. And as you can see, the first bit is to clean the damage area by using a push pin. I'm not even sure if this actually comes with a push pin. From what I'm told, normally they do. But I can't see a push pin in here, so I'm going to use something from my garage instead. And you have to clean out all the chips first from the pit and clean the surrounding area using a dry cloth and paper towel. So that's what we're going to do first. Right, so the first thing you want to do is clean out using a pick or the pin that normally comes with these. Clean out the area and just make sure that you dig it out right. Make sure you're not putting any pressure, not too much pressure, in or around the crack on the windscreen, because if you do that, the chip, if you do, it will crack. Right, so the next bit is, as my favourite, the nail polish remover. Wipe that on there. Just cleans away any dirt or grime that's stuck in. As you can see, it very quickly dries away. Right, so the next bit is you get one of these seals out. And what you do is you peel off the back. Make sure the tab is pointing upwards. And that's directly over that hole. Make sure there's no air inside the bit around there and just push any air out. So the next bit is, this is actually double-sided. So you remove the double-sided part to reveal a sticky pad underneath. Bit of trouble there, but we got there in the end. And you mount the pedestal up on there, lining it up like so. So the next tip I got from a YouTuber was to essentially put some masking tape over the sight here, and then kind of just fold it down. And that's so that if there's any resin that drops down, it will be collected here. We'll be able to peel the masking tape off. We're going to do about a 1/4 inch in. The plunger is all the way down. You've got to make sure the connection there is tight, so a little bit of pressure on there, and then hold the injector with one hand, pull the plunger up with the other, and lock it in to the lower notch in the plunger. Hold this in and squeeze upwards. Like that. So that's in the lowest notch. And then you have to let it sit for 10 minutes. Now, it might be very hard to see with this, but essentially there are some bubbles forming in here, and what that's doing is creating a vacuum and sucking out as much of the air as possible. And you want those bubbles to be there. So another tip I got from a YouTuber was that I've waited 10 minutes, but underneath it's still bubbling, so it's still activating and still doing its thing. You tap around. Like I say, no pressure on the glass, but you're just tapping just to help get any of that air out extra. Right, so the next bit, according to the instructions, is to essentially remove the plunger. It's now filled with air. So I'm going to rotate this, make sure it's filled with air, up to the top position, like that. Then I'm going to pop this back on, make sure there's a tight seal, twist it, close, and allow that to sit. It says let it sit for about 20 minutes. Okay, so we've left that to dry for the set amount of time. Let's see how this goes on. So I'm going to take this off, the syringe, and then we're essentially going to use the blade that comes with the kit. That off. As you can see, there's quite a lot of resin under there already. We're going to go around it next. Now, this blade will not cut the glass. But obviously this gel stuff is still underneath. We're going to use the blade to cut away any of the remaining pad from where the crack is. Next part, so I'm told, is the curing procedure. So the next step is to essentially use this to go directly over the pit itself. And move it in and push any air out from where you want this to cure. Now you leave that in place for an hour. Now just an update on the windscreen resin that I've used. As you can see, I've done two. So I've done that chip and that chip there. You can see where it's not quite transparent. Very difficult to actually get the camera to sort of focus on it. But essentially, you scrape that bit out, that sort of weird foggy patch. You scrape that off, and you know, once this has been allowed to cure in the sun. It's a bit of a cloudy day today, so I'm going to have to leave it for quite some time. So rather than leaving it half an hour in the sun, direct sun, I have to leave it between 1 and 2 hours before I can fully take it off. And as you can see, this side is the same. You can see there is still a little bit of chip there, but it is actually so much better than what it was before. This stuff actually strengthens it as well, which means that it shouldn't crack. Chip is slightly there, but nowhere near as bad as what it was before. and it's definitely a lot clearer. Once I scrape that resin away, that's going to be so much better. Nice, easy and cheap fix for what is essentially a £10 kit off of eBay. Really impressed, and hopefully you found this YouTube video interesting. Like and subscribe.